Hey everyone, we're about to pull back the curtain on a problem that is way more common and way more damaging than you probably think. We're talking about a silent threat that can sneak into any house at any time.
So let me ask you something. When you think of a total home disaster, what's the first image that pops into your head? Get an answer in your mind. Got it?
And you are probably wrong, right? While massive fires and crazy storms grab all the attention on the news, the thing that actually damages homes most often is plain old water. It's literally everywhere. And the second it gets into a place it shouldn't be, the damage begins.
So how does this even happen? Well, in this first section, we're going to dig into all the different ways water can turn into a very, very unwelcome guest. What's kind of wild when you look at this list is just how many different culprits there are. You've got the really dramatic stuff, like a pipe bursting when it freezes solid. But then you have the totally boring stuff, like a washing machine hose that just decides it's done. But honestly, some of the absolute worst offenders are the ones you can't even see.
And this right here is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. A slab leak is basically a home's silent assassin. It can leak for weeks, even months, completely hidden under the concrete foundation of your house, soaking the ground beneath you. You might not know a thing until you feel a weird, warm spot on your floor or get a water bill that's suddenly through the roof.
Okay, so the water's in. Now what? Well, this is the part where a ticking clock starts, and believe me, every single second is going to count. I want you to burn this number into your brain. 24 to 48 hours. That's the critical window. Once water gets in, you've got about that much time before a simple water issue starts to morph into a much nastier and even hazardous mold problem.
And this timeline just shows you how fast everything goes downhill. We're talking minutes for water to just soak into everything, carpets, floors, and it'll even start climbing up the inside of your walls. Within a few hours, things are physically changing. Wood is swelling, furniture is falling apart. And, yep, right on schedule, there it is. That 24 to 48 hour mark is when mold gets the green light to grow. Let it go for days, you could be looking at the actual structure of your house being at risk.
So here's the deal. This is not the time to be a hero with a bucket and a mop. When you're fighting that clock, you need a scientific step-by-step plan. So let's take a look at how the pros tackle this.
It really comes down to this super effective three-phase attack. First things first, you get all that standing water out, and you do it fast. Step 2, you bring in the heavy-duty equipment to pull moisture out of the building itself. And then finally, step 3, you rebuild and restore everything that was damaged to get the place back to normal.
And they're not doing this with stuff you buy at the hardware store. Professionals roll up with some serious tech. Thermal cameras are amazing. They literally let you see water that's trapped inside a wall that looks perfectly fine on the outside. You pair that with moisture meters and gigantic drawing equipment, and it's all about making the invisible visible and making the impossible dry.
Now, this is something a lot of people don't realize, and it's absolutely crucial. The source of the water changes everything. The industry has categories. Category 1 is clean water, like from a broken water pipe. But Category 3, what they call black water, that's from something like a sewer backup, and that stuff is a legitimate biohazard.
And this chart just lays it all out. If it's clean water, there's a good chance you can save things, like drying out the carpet and drywall. But if it's black water, forget it. Anything that's porous, carpet, drywall, insulation, you name it. It all has to be cut out and safely thrown away. The entire game plan changes depending on how dirty that water is.
So how do you know a team actually knows what they're doing? You look for this, ICRC certification. Think of it as the instruction manual for the entire industry. It means the technicians have been trained on the actual science of drying, so you know your home is going to be truly, verifiably dry when they're done.
All right, the water's gone, the place is dry, phew. But what about the mess it left behind? Let's talk about those last few steps on the road back to feeling normal.
Let's be real, dealing with insurance can be a total nightmare. But here's the great news. A good restoration company handles that for you. They speak the same language as the insurance adjusters, they give them all the right paperwork, moisture maps, photos, equipment logs, which makes the whole claim process go so much faster and smoother for you.
And this is the part where it finally starts to feel like your house again. Once all the sciencey drying stuff is over, the builders come in. They're replacing drywall, putting in new floors, painting, making it all look like that watery disaster never even happened.
Okay, we've looked at the threat, and we've looked at the fix. So let's wrap this up with some stuff you can actually use to protect your own place and maybe even spot a problem before it gets out of hand.
Honestly, your own senses are your best defense. Does a room smell kinda musty? Do you see a little bubble in the paint? Is that one floorboard looking a little weird? These are not just little quirks of an old house. They are huge red flags. This checklist right here covers the biggest warning signs that you might have a secret leak that needs checking out, like right now.
So, I'll just leave you with this last question to think about. Every single one of us has a smoke detector to warn us about fire. It's a no-brainer. But what's your alarm system for the disaster that's way more likely to happen? The best detector really is you. It's paying attention to those little signs and doing something about them before they turn into a silent catastrophe.